This SHOT Show coverage is sponsored by Ace Virtual Shooting, Philster Holsters, Night Vision Inc., and PTS. Links will be in the description. What is up, YouTube? My name is David Lee, and you're watching Asian with Hat. And I got Adam over here from Holosun. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, buddy?
Good. So you got a lot of products over here. So
Yes.
what's going on?
We decided to really roll out the red carpet this year.
Right.
So,
right.
all right, let's just jump right into it. So this is the one that kind of set the internet ablaze this time, and
Yes.
this is the new DPS or digital pistol sight, and this is in thermal. So this is actually a thermal camera. Now it's white light as well. I'm not gonna blind the camera. That's white light also. And it sends a wireless signal to this guy and gives a digital thermal overlay. Now, as we talked about before, it is called a digital pistol sight, but I'm looking more at this like it's a PDW. You mentioned MP5, those Fluxrator type kits. Be a great thing, or stack it like that. Lots of options out there. What this really does though is show what that technology can be used for and what it can be adapted to. And it really sets up a whole new world of thermal, not to mention other options. It's really unbelievable where this could be used at.
Is it communicating wirelessly? I'm
Yeah,
assuming?
so it's sending a wireless signal from here up to the optic and giving that digital overlay. So the camera's taking in the information, sending it up to this guy, and then it's showing through. As you look through it, you're actually seeing the image the camera's providing for you.
And how minimal is the latency currently?
The latency right now, even this pre-production unit, is not terrible. Obviously, when you get wired signal, just like your internet at your house, there is some decay on that. And that's where we're looking at doing other options and seeing what can be done to minimize all of that. Similar to what many of you guys have seen on these other ones, where there's almost no delay at all. How can we do that with this?
So this is still in its prototype phase.
Yeah.
And you're looking at more options currently.
Correct. I would say end of this year, beginning of next year is when you really see where this is gonna go and how we're gonna utilize it.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Now we jump into the DRS or digital rifle sight, and that's these guys right here. The first one we have here is night vision, then we have thermal. The night vision is actually shipping right now, about $1,000 street price. The thermal is shipping in the next 2 to 4 weeks. That's about $1,600. Now, this comes with digital magnification built in. It comes with ability to take photos and videos. It also comes with the ability to run it as a standard red dot. You can flip this down, and that's just a standard red dot. Flip it up, that helps to add contrast is all, especially in lighter environments.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is it has two 18350 batteries mounted on the side, and we did change, this is now a kind of QD style ratchet system to open it or close it. So no longer do you need tools in the field to get your batteries and swap them out.
Or worry about something that actually with a D10 system, it's actually helping it like keep stay in place.
Correct. And originally, those who remember probably saw it from me before, is that these had 2 star key type screws that held together.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm the last person you want in the field trying to change a battery in the dark with a star key.
Right.
It's never going to happen.
Right.
There's also, in case you need it, magnetic charging now built into the side as well.
Interesting.
So you can do that.
We're going somewhere like, MacBook Pro where you have that connector,
Exactly.
right? Interesting.
Yeah. So at least in my mind, kind of like we used to the MacBook Pro, it alleviates you pulling something off and just destroying this object or tipping your gun over, because it just kind of pulls itself off at that point.
Right.
The magnetic charging.
And I'm assuming it's like a proprietary connector. That
So these ones are, a lot of our lights are 2 prongs. This is a new 5 prong system right here. And the other cool thing is this actually is partially magnetic. This flap, it actually magnetizes it in place too.
Awesome.
That way the water's not getting in there.
So real quick, before we move on to the next products, what's the runtime on these two?
You're talking 4, 6, or 8 hours, depending on how you're doing it. Because if you're doing video content on there, if you're doing the thermal overlay or just a red dot, it degrades significantly over time. I want to say it was 10 to 12 hours if you're doing minimal stuff, but as people are going to start doing content like videos and things, it is going to degrade that battery over time.
Right.
And it will depend on using the magnification, or how bright is the screen. I don't downplay that to say that the battery can be anywhere, but I mean that in terms of, guys, these are feature packed. It's almost like an iPhone or some kind of phone. When you start looking at these, there are so many features, subset screens that you can go into. It's really cool because you can kind of do anything with this. And it's gonna be a great little tool there for a lot of people.
Absolutely. So there's one other thing I was thinking of too. There's internal storage in here, or do you have to provide your own micro SD card?
Yeah, there's going to be internal storage built in. I don't have the exact spec that this is going to be shipping with. The night vision just started shipping, but it will have internal storage built inside of it.
So that way you don't have any way of water getting in there.
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, there was discussion about having an external, but obviously, as you just mentioned, you open up a whole lot of liability spots of like, what if?
Right.
What if I do this? What if I do that?
Right.
So that's going to be a huge thing. I think probably most of us have done nothing else. Me. It's hard to have a night vision camera nowadays this can be used as a night vision camera.
So for you hog hunters or guys
Right.
that like to play airsoft, you can also get this stuff. And then this one, this is, I think the hog hunters are gonna like this one
Yes.
for sure. I would definitely say this is like the flagship that no one was actually expecting last year
No.
when I heard about it. And people were like running over here to just like see this product. And that was still at that time a proof of concept,
Yeah,
right?
still proof of concept.
And now this is actually coming out. When did you guys release this one? Like in the last
yeah,
last
just
month or
like
two?
last week. Started shipping
Wow.
last week.
Well, congratulations, you guys. So this is the flagship over here, DRS TH, thermal, and DRS NV for night vision. And what would this be? This essentially digital night vision?
Yes, it's digital night vision, so you don't have to worry about those with nods and you have PS14.
Right, analog.
You have to remember, like, you know, light coming in. Sometimes there's like it'll start flickering. That way it doesn't overrun. Like, you know, you don't burn out your night vision. This you don't have that problem with. A white light can hit this direct on. It doesn't do anything because it is digital.
Sure. All right, so
So-
moving on from there.
All right, so two of my most favorite things hitting SHOT Show this year. One of them is this guy right here, the new Iris. So this is our new IR laser, IR illuminator, and visible laser. So one thing I really like about this is if you remember our previous units, I'll show this back towards the camera here, they were a lot thicker and they were a lot, they're just thicker in general. We also had our IR illuminator to increase or decrease how much the flood was being used, had a knob in the back here. And it was tough to use with gloves. It was also tough to get to your hand off the firing solution, which is being your gun. Now, up here is actually where that is at now. So you can slide this, and it's a very tactile, there's like a clicking feel to it that you know it's being actuated. This is how you're gonna do your IR illuminator, increasing or decreasing the flood on it. Also, as I showed, it's a very efficient, very shrunk down version. You also have your manual fire switch back here, so you can manually fire that up. Crane switch here in the bottom left. It's very low, so you can wrap those cords around. And then you have your CR1238 battery on this side. And guys, it's gonna hit Q2 of this year around $800. It does use V-cell technology for the IR illuminator.
And what is V-cell for most people
Yeah.
that don't know?
So in essence, it keeps you in the civilian spectrum of 0.7, but at the same time amplifies the IR illuminator's power going out. So you're getting a better power illuminator while still under the civilian spectrum. So it's still allowed to be held by almost any of us.
So we're really trying to push the limits of what we are limited at. legally.
Yes, yes.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's that guy. Then you jump into this guy, and this is probably one of my favorites because I use it the most. This is the new Holosun Raid flashlight. 80,000 candela, 1,000 lumens. It has a 18650 battery internally that can be removed. It's got a 2-prong magnetic charging system in the back. It also ships with not only a Picatinny mount, but also an M-LOK mount as well. Because how frustrating is it when you buy something new and you go, I want M-LOK, and they go, that's an extra $40. No, it comes with this guy right here. You can also take this off. It's non-proprietary. It fits the Scout mounting system.
Yes.
And then also your end switches here. You have two of them. One will be a pressure switch for your finger or a crane mount as well. And this will be hitting Q2 of this year, right around the $180 price point.
Interesting. You said crane mount. Does it work with other mounts as well? That's supposed to be working with it, or is it just?
It'll work with the crane switch. There could be additional ones released at a later time, but crane seems to be right now the industry standard for a lot of those things. So that'll work with crane and along with this. And hopefully at some point you'll see one of these with a dual switch, so you can run both of these as well together.
Interesting. Okay. So one thing to mention here, ask you, and I apologize. What's the battery in here? Is it 18650?
18650, yes.
And it recharges, or you can recharge it through.
Yeah, so you can take it out or you can recharge it. And you know, typical what you'd expect, you can do that, take the battery out. Sorry, this has a casing there to protect it. And you can run it just like that.
Awesome.
So obviously probably a lot of us, especially with how popular 18650s are, we probably have a stash of them downstairs. It'll run with that normal battery, nothing special.
For those of you guys that have vapes, we're talking about you.
Oh, throwing some shade. All right, staying in the white light spectrum here, we have the PIDK and PIDK Plus. The Plus has a visible green laser in it. The PIDK is a standard white light option, about 10,000 candela, 1,000 lumens, and these are about $140 to $180 price point in Q2 of this year.
Awesome. And what's the battery for these?
These ones right now, it's actually an internal rechargeable. There's still discussion if they will have kind of CR123 or something similar.
Interesting. Okay, so we're trying to gravitate to getting smaller, not having to rely on a CR123, and then what would I assume is the battery, like a lithium polymer battery or a lithium
I would
ion
imagine
battery?
so. Yeah, they haven't finalized all the specs. Obviously, as you just mentioned, I think it's 100% correct. Right now, it's how much power can I push out? How long a battery life can you get? How small can it be?
Right.
I think that's the big name. It's a big balance between power and power consumption.
And the good thing too here is that, I mean, like you said, it's probably It's magnetic. You're saying,
Yeah,
right?
you still do magnetic charging right in the bottom of their two rung
yeah,
system.
one thing I've always heard that you have rechargeable batteries, but there's the annoyance of like maybe you have to take off the flashlight and then get the battery out. Now this one you don't have to take off your gun. You could leave it on your nightstand, just connect it to it, and then the next day it's 100% charged. That's not a bad idea.
And one thing we probably all have seen before, and it's kind of cringy, I know, but how many times do people start taking batteries out with a loaded gun? And you've seen it in classes, you've seen it on the range. I've seen cops do it, I've seen other guys do it. They're like, oh, I'll change my battery. I'm like, that thing's still hot. I wouldn't exactly go put my hand in front of the muzzle, change my battery as you got your hand on the.
I'm not gonna lie, it has crossed my mind, but I always check my firearm.
Right.
Like, what if someone does that?
Yeah, most of us are smart enough. We're gonna unload it. We're gonna make sure I've seen it the other way, and you kind of just go, this is either gonna be really spicy or it's gonna be boring.
Absolutely.
All right, so the next thing we got here is our new SCS CZ P10. So for those who know the SCS, that's a solar charging site. It's an internal battery, no external. One button push design to do your changing your reticles, turn it on off if you would like to do that. And the solar panel actually charges the internal battery.
Right.
You're talking about 10 years expected lifespan of that battery or more. And then a couple hours of charge time gets you months of runtime. This also, as you heard me say, is a CZP10. That is because these are made to fit the gun you use. So if you run a Glock MOS system, you buy the Glock MOS version. Because there's no plate required, it mounts directly to the gun. Your iron sights that are stock work with that optic. This is it's one of the most popular optics for sure, especially with law enforcement, because even if it goes down, your iron sights work with it. And the armor, whose bane of existence is new things, does have to go, great, new iron sights, great, new mounting system, great, new whatever. Yeah, so I know one of your guys has to deal with that, right?
I'm not in the military.
We'll cast some light over there.
I'm not in the military,
Right.
but I'm sure someone over here has to deal with like some of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking about you, John.
Then we'll throw out this guy. So for those that saw last year, we had the SCS 320, and that fits the DPP footprint. The big question we had was, can you shrink it down to a carry size gun? And that's what we did. So this is the SCS carry. Built-in rear iron sights, one-touch design right there, internal battery charged by the solar panels on the top, but fully enclosed. So this is that fully enclosed version of the SCS. Gives you that much more rugged reliability. One of your guys lives in PA, I live in Ohio. It rains, snows, dust, dirt, cats, dogs, everything. This is so that stuff's not getting into that optic and occluding anything. It's a great option.
Yeah, and the whole industry's been gravitating to enclosed optics in what is it, like the last 2 to 3 years now?
Absolutely, yeah.
And what's the footprint for the SCS carry?
So this one right here is going to be the K footprint, 407K, 507K.
Got it, yes.
A lot of people are running that right now, especially the 507K, 407K.
Yes.
So, and the EPS line. Sorry, the EPS line being that. This is going to be a big one right now.
Yes.
Then we have, this is a collab with Ronin Tactics, if you guys know who he is.
Yep.
And this is his dragon logo up here. This is a standard EPS carry. And this is his collab here with his dragon on top. We also have another collab with him, and that is this guy right here. This is the Ames Max. This guy's big. This guy's dragon logo here on the side. It's got a QD system along the bottom, and it's got a solar panel that I think was about to charge a Tesla car. We figured, what the heck, let's throw on an optic and see what happens. Giant viewport, guys. It's a magnificent optic. It looks great on rifles. We have one on Agency Arms out there right now, and it looks fantastic. There's also one more collab that's out there. We don't have one in the booth right now. It's a 507 competition optic with Ronin Tactics. It has his dragon on the side. It has our MRS reticle, so our dot, circle, and circle dot. Great looking optic, guys. Check it out. Lastly, still in the rifle realm, we have our new 6X magnifier, so 6 times magnification. Still has our solid lock to side like you're used to. Very sturdy snap into place. Comes with the riser mount, and it comes with a QD mounting system. So this offers you that much more ability to reach out and really touch somebody in that 6X field.
Awesome. And the question for this is, what's the retail price on this one?
About $330 if I remember correctly.
$330. And what's the relative sharpness? Like, for me, I own an EOTech G33, and that's relatively sharp. I've tried to stay away from like other brands, not naming others, but like I've always had concerns of like how sharp it is, because when you're aiming through, you don't want to be distracted by like how unsharp or like how much purple fringing or colors are just beaming through your for no reason. So how sharp is it?
Yeah, so I actually have, I think, 6 different magnifiers, mostly 3X. That's predominant field. I would put Holosun up there with the absolute best of them for clarity. The other big thing that I've noticed is the lock to side on the mount. So that's a big thing. I've seen some really nice ones, but the mounting system is just complete garbage.
Right.
This one, you get kind of the best of both fields. And the 6X is very sharp. Our 3X, for those guys that have seen it, is incredibly sharp. And this is just adds on that much more.
Awesome. Last question on this
Mhm.
thing. I'm assuming this is easily adaptable to something like maybe using on a Unity.
I have not tried it yet. I have seen a picture where there is something very similar, and supposedly it works.
Okay, cool.
But I've not gotten to try it myself.
I guess we'll find out sometime soon down the road from the Holosun community, right?
Yes, I know there are pictures of it. I just don't know how they got it to work, or if it's just a natural mount.
Adam, thank you very much.
Yep. So keep watching Asian with the Hat. He's gonna bring you all the information right here from SHOT Show, guys. He's the one to follow. Like and subscribe. Watch those videos up here somewhere.
Stay tuned, guys. Thank you.